Thank you very much. If you can hear me, I want to say thank you for Brittany, Dr. Foss, for bringing me here. Yeah, she's not lying when she say we are best friends. There's nothing Brittany will ask me and I will not do for her, because I know no matter what the situation is, when I call on Brittany, she's going to be there. She's that type of person. You can always count on Brittany. So thank you very much for having me here. If you can hear me very well, just show me a hand so I can continue. Thank you very much. So I cannot thank you enough for this opportunity. Brittany talked to me about this organization several times, and she asked me if I can talk about the importance of peace building. And just after she and I, we were talking about the program we were in as a PhD was so practical. We teaching in the classroom is like a waste of our time. Even though we love teaching, we have so much competence and skills to use on the ground, helping people growing up, right? So first, I want to start this conversation by saying thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. I'm humble and honored to be here today. Despite everything you hear about my education background, I want to be very humble and say kudos for everything you are doing in the world. I would like to open my speech by celebrating the memory of my friend and mentor, His Excellency Pierre Buyoya, a former president of the Republic of Burundi, who just passed away, and he also was former high representative of African Union for Mali and Sahel, and thank him for his guidance, everything he has done for me, and I pray that he will be in peace. He died this week from COVID. Which make me very, very sad right now, but I'm here to talk about the future. So the topic I'm addressing today is the importance of peace building. I'm going to start this conversation by being very casual, just asking a few questions. The question one I'm going to ask is, as expert, you are very smart, you're more smart than me, you have more experience. What is peace? Right? I love what Brittany said right now. Peace is not something that we just have, right? So what is peace is my first question. My second question is, why peace building is so important, especially given the challenge of, let me just give you a few experience: poverty, immigration, now COVID-19, the war hunger, and racial discrimination. What is peace about that? What are some theory or some practice about peace building? And fourth, what is the importance of local culture in the peace building effort? That's something I want you to think about. And lastly, 5, what role should the international community have in local peace building effort in the world, like what you're doing right now? So before answering those questions, I will describe or just mention a few current conflict that every single day people call me and say, what are we going to do about this, right? There are several conflicts which I will briefly describe, right? Last week, I hope you all hear this. 300 schoolboys went missing after gunmen attacked secondary school in Kankara in a town of Nigeria, northern Kennesaw State. 300 students disappeared. Attacker on motorcycle stormed the all-boy government science school late on Friday last week and engaged security forces in a forced gun battle, forcing hundreds of students to flee and hide in the surrounding forest. Is it the money a solution for this problem? I don't think so. Every time I think about this, I have a tear in my eyes. So if I cry, please forgive me. At the same time, Mali has been a scene of perpetual conflict and displacement ever since I can remember. I grew up in Europe, in France, and Mali has always been a problem. Last one, as you have here, there is a coup d'etat in 2020 in Mali. When we hear this news, we don't talk about millions of people who has to be displaced, no food, no school, no health system. All we hear is coup d'etat. Right? As a mix of robo and terrorist group are attacking and destroying this country every single day. What are we going to do about that? On the same continent of Africa, Ethiopia has come once again the world attention with another crisis. After healing from a year of multiple disasters, including COVID, massive flooding and locust outbreak that destroyed crops, The northern part of the country is now facing conflict. Escalating tension are putting displaced community in Ethiopia and further risk and forcing thousands of Ethiopians towards Sudan. On the global level, conflict has had far-reaching effect now. An estimate, listen to me very well, an estimate of 3 million children worldwide are migrant. 3 million children, our future, are migrant. An estimate of 10 million are refugees forcefully displaced from their country, and another 17 million are internally displaced due to conflict and violence. They are at a grave risk of women trafficking, sexual violence, exploitation, disturbed education, family separation, and emotional trauma. You know these things more than I do. I'm just reminding you what the challenges we face every single day. So what is peace to these children? I'm going to ask you. Throughout the world in 2020, we are experiencing racial and cultural war. Either we hear about Black Lives Matter or white supremacy. Whatever it is, we face challenges, and COVID add to that. So what is peace? The former US President Ronald Reagan once said that peace is not the absence of a conflict. It is the ability to handle conflict by peaceful means. Peace is not the absence of conflict, but rather is the ability to handle conflict by peaceful means. I personally believe that conflict is normal part of a social interaction. It is normal that two people, maybe from different race or different, will have differences, but it cannot stop a development. But how do we maintain peace? And is what is important today. How do we maintain peace is what we, so the question of how important peace building is what I'm getting at. Why is peace building is so important? As simple as that. I'm an economist. I study development, climate change. No development effort, either at the national or international level, can yield a sustainable outcome without peace. No matter how much money you put in, you will never get a development without peace. Therefore, peace building is the cornerstone of all development effort. It should be, if it's not now, it should be. But the question remains, how do you approach peace building? There are multiple approaches to peace building. I will name just a few, just to give you just an idea. According to 1,000 different authors, including O'Brien 2007, there are 3 tracks or methods that are frequently used in peace building effort. Track 1, when high level single mediator is central to actually bring peace in a peace building process. Track 2 is when non-governmental organization, just like what you're doing, and civil society organization led a peace building effort. And track 3 is based on a grassroots leadership for peace building. The method presented here was influenced by multi-track peace work in which track 2 approach are influential to both the track 1 and the track 3 method. I hope you follow what I'm saying. I love theory. I believe me. Brittany can tell you in the classroom, teacher cannot have enough of me because I grew up in Europe, so philosophy is what we like to do. But the problem is the reality on the ground sometimes challenges our understanding. I have traveled the world extensively, and the reality does not always conform to our theories. Theories describe our expectation, but the ground must inform our actions. I hope you keep that in mind. This leads me to talk about local effort, local culture, local perception of what we call peace and peace building. In today's world, we must make sure that the liberal peace theory, which I love, does not push aside local culture and local reality. It is important to build peace around our local reality by building an understanding what peace means for each society. You and I, if we sit in a room right now and we ask questions, what is peace? We will have a different definition because of our social experiences. So the international community must actually take into account the diversity of local voice seriously in effort to promote what I will call a hybrid sustainable peace process. The old model of a development as a 2-level game we learned in school, in which we think money is the solution to all conflict, while we continue to reinforce existing method and power structure, has failed us several times. We have seen in different countries, the Western way of solving problems have failed. It does not solve our problems. So peace building today must become the priority of any development effort anywhere, and it must take into account the local reality. Peace building, and especially local peace building that takes into account local culture and reality, is needed more than ever. If the goal is to meet sustainable development goal, we need to focus on peace building. But local peace building initiatives are not receiving, and you will agree with me, enough support, in my view. There are not a lot of people like you in the world. Instead, we decide to invest in education, in trade, in economy, in international relations. I'm not denying that these are not very important. I'm not saying that they are. But the reality is we face other challenge. And we need to rethink our peace building effort. We must find a way, and they must be local in the pure sense of the word, typically covering a neighborhood or city, and bring together a representative selection of a voice to solve and resolve a specific problem that have the potential to cause conflict and violence. It is not always easy, but we must try, just like my friend Brittany says, we have to dream. So the peace building effort must reflect the underlying dynamic of the different community. The international community often collaborate with on build existing local power structure and processes. The international community must define, in my view, and follow a set of rules and procedure to maximize objectivity and fairness. Peace building must be very inclusive, involving women and men of different ages and members of different ethnic community and economic interest group, along with local leaders. By doing so, they will improve trust and the collaboration within and across the communities. Peace is not the responsibility of one person. It's the responsibility for all of us. It has to be global. After all, peace is not the absence of a conflict. It is the ability to handle conflict by peaceful means. Thank you very much for listening to me.